Yo, dudes! Welcome to the MotorSport MC. This episode has been a super long time in the making, as my tiny little YouTube channel has changed my life, and now my life has to change my little tiny YouTube channel. When I initially launched this channel in 2025, my goal was basically to document my progress as a racer through as many different disciplines as I can get myself into. Now, in the process of making my tiny YouTube channel, Eric Lamar at Squeakus Circuit saw it, brought me on as an announcer over there after a couple of conversations. Did a couple of events there, got tagged in a post for Albuquerque Dragway looking for an announcer over there, and then I got that job too after being the only person that attached a phone number to their resume. So awesome, faith that I had there, and it's kind of been driven home by a couple of fluke accidents that have happened in the Corvette. So basically, the first one was losing a serpentine belt on track. So I was in a practice session in there putting in my first super lap session, tossed the serpentine belt because I had a wobbly harmonic balancer, lost power steering, which I thought that was my actual issue, powered through the end of the lap when I realized my car was overheating and puking coolant everywhere, and that put that session to a quick end. Then we get into the first super lap event, the test and tune. We'll just go ahead and go into that right now. My Corvette steers my life more than I steer it around corners. I was prepared when I ran off into the dirt on the outside of turn 1 as I was taking an experimental line, and that was a likely consequence. I wasn't prepared when the car regained grip and flung me into the inside tire wall.
Oh no!
When I went to restart the car, the gauges indicated the oil cooler was destroyed in the impact.
Fuck, dude. I gotta quit trashing my fucking car, man.
I had what felt like an eternity for the track to clear and to get towed off to contemplate my actions. It was the first time my car was actually hurt on track, and I had no idea how bad, and in that moment I had 3 crucial realizations. I was a far better announcer than I am a driver, and that was to become my new focus. And then I was definitely gonna have to call for a tow. Now it's kind of wild. I was out here watching races at Squeakus Circuit, and this barrel in the windstorm rolled over and hit my car, took out my oil cooler, and it sprung this oil leak, all because of that barrel rolling over there. It's bad news, man. That New Mexico wind is brutal. So yeah, pretty tough break there. It took me about 225-ish zip ties to get everything stitched back together. New oil cooler, new duct to feed the thing, new radiator support because that thing was freaking fragged. I had to add a tow loop at that point because I was habitually getting towed off a track. I just had to be considerate. And yeah, a whole lot of time tweaking and aligning stuff later. It's back up there and roadworthy. I can even live with the battle damage. I think it looks pretty rad, and a lot of people agree, and I'm sure there's a lot of boomers out there just totally losing their minds over it, which makes me like it even more. The next super lap test and tune was like the trifecta deal sealer. So on the way to the track, I got a screw in my tire. I lost the screw on the track, deflated this tire on track, got a flat. It de-beaded the tire. I wasn't able to get footage of that because I'm always awkward about getting footage when people are helping me work on my car. But me and one of the racers' dads had to do this to get the tire back in the bead. But that being said, with so many events that I was doing, I was really losing time to actually get the car prepared for events, and I was having so much fun announcing that I really wasn't worried about it that much, which was actually really shocking to me. But when I'm announcing, I actually get to be in the middle of all of the action. I'm not just running my class, I'm kind of running every class because I'm talking about every single pass of the drag strip. I'm calling everybody up to the lanes. I'm calling everybody up to their laps and getting to talk about every single pass of it and every single event almost here. The only thing I'm not really doing now is the drifting and the motorcycle events. So I'm really happy with my progress of that. So where we're going to redirect the channel now is a multi-part series of what our weekend in the life looks like for a racing announcer doing what I'm doing right now. I have 4 separate events that we're going to cover. Firecracker Nationals, which is a 2-day event at Albuquerque Dragway, July 3rd and 4th. We have Super Lap the morning of July 4th at Squeakus Circuit, and then the 4 hours of melons on July 5th at Squeakus Circuit. And again, I'm working all of these things pretty much nose to tail, so stick with me. Watch the weekend in the life of a racing announcer coming up right now on the MotorSport MC. Welcome racers and race fans to a very special Firecracker Nationals as we roll in the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, kicking it off with some of the biggest, baddest, and fastest race cars right here in the Southwest. Everybody get buckled in for a wild ride as we have a hot summer night bringing these things across the track all night long. What an amazing city for car culture. I'm extra nostalgic and appreciative of exactly kind of what we have going on here. It is the 250th anniversary of what I would have to say is by far the greatest country in the history of human civilization, the US of A. If you don't like America on the 4th of July, man, I mean, pack your bags, right? Go find somewhere else this rad. You're not gonna find it. So amazing. And then Albuquerque is this unique epicenter, right? We're along historic Route 66. We're one of the few cities that time didn't forget when the modern freeway system came. It actually crisscrossed right across, gave us the big eye, and turned us into the hub for commerce that Albuquerque is here. But more important than the hub for commerce is that the car culture of Route 66 here in Albuquerque, unlike anywhere else along the route, never died. It continues to go on every day, and I have to absolutely appreciate and love every second of it as I'm over here at Albuquerque Dragway. We also have a road course, the Suica Circuit. Amazing situations here for racers, and you can see the car culture is deep. Every time you're in traffic here in Albuquerque, every time you're on Central Avenue, every single moment of every single day, car culture is the Albuquerque way. And again, thank you all for coming out and joining us tonight. My name is Curtis Maxwell Lyon, Albuquerque's auto sports announcer, the MotorSport MC. Find me on Instagram at DirtNastyMaxwell and on YouTube, the MotorSports MC. I'm always getting into tons of awesome adventures here in Albuquerque in the car culture and beyond the borders of that coming up soon. So again, everybody get ready to dial in here. We got about 15 minutes before we start launching cars, and again, about a 10-minute warning to get your car through tech inspection. So get yourselves ready to rock, ready to race. It is Firecracker Nationals here at Albuquerque Dragway. Now, this was supposed to be this really cool segment where I was getting exposed to funny cars and jet cars for the first time, kind of losing my cherry out there on camera. Now, unfortunately, I messed with some sort of camera setting that set it to time-lapse mode. So here we get to watch me losing my cherry to the jet cars. Boom, look at those rockets fly. I'm talking a million miles an hour. And it's pretty much over before it even begins, right? Now, fortunately, my man Gordy showed up to the party here and got a little recording there of the jet cars while I was up there in the tower recording on my phone by announcing at the same time, and resulted in this pretty sweet clip. Completely diabolical looking. They're dumping fuel on those nozzles. You're gonna see all the heat distortion of the night sky as these things are dumping fuel out the back of those nozzles. Another giant cloud of smoke coming out the passenger side, the spectator side, the whatever side. This stuff is so exciting I can barely even get my words straight. Firecracker Nationals putting on the best show in the Southwest. All station up, and they're flying! Look at those missiles scream! 420 versus 444, taking that. Our fly-alongs have to be reorganized as they take their flight. Our dedicated staff racing down as fast as the jet car to get this track back in order. And we are bringing in some of the first burnouts of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America right here at Albuquerque Dragway. The final rounds of our combo race. Tyler Brush in the dragster, Steve Lakey in the Malibu, gonna put those hoops in the air every single time. Let's see which one is gonna take the most patriotic finish here at day one of Firecracker Nationals. Clean for Lakey with the wheels in the air. Tyler Brush in hot pursuit. Looks like Lakey's gonna get there first, but Brush takes it. Lakey breaks out. Game over, and that is it. The end of the action of day one of Firecracker Nationals. Happy birthday, America. You are 250 years old. It is Independence Day in 2026. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That concludes the end of our racing night here at Albuquerque Dragway. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. I am Albuquerque's auto sport announcer, the Motorsports MC, Curtis Maxwell Lyon, signing off. All right, the end of Firecracker Nationals day one, and the first of my 4 events on the 250th anniversary of the US and frickin' A. I am exhausted trying to get up here, clock a few hours of Z's. I'm due back at Suica Circuit in less than 7 hours, so that means I have way less than 6 hours of sleep. So it is what it is, though. It's the 4th of July. It's my favorite holiday of the year, and I'm going to totally sacrifice it for my career in this case, because although I could typically be out there trying to blow a freaking hole in the ground, and I love that stuff like it's more than pretty much anything in the world, right? Racing is really freaking rad. And I'm getting paid to do what I love, and not very many people have the opportunity to do that in so many different ways that I do. So yeah, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna clock in and watch some freaking jet cars and funny cars and go be funny about cars and go live my dream. You know, I got my sign set up to remind me to get my coffee machine and creamer so I can attempt to be a functionable human being at the racetracks tomorrow. But yeah, it's gonna be rad. So I'm gonna shut the F up, and I'll see y'all in the morning. So that's it for day one in the How My YouTube Channel Changed My Life series. We're going to be heading to Suica Circuit in the morning for Super Lap and a wild holiday weekend. All I have to say about that. Stick around for the next episode. It's probably uploaded already, unless you're one of the cutting edge viewers that I have out there. And again, thank you guys so much for everybody that follows along. This one is really for the day ones who haven't seen a video up in a while and wonder what I've actually been up to. This story's for you guys. And anybody else following along the ride, dude, wicked awesome to have you guys on board. So peace out. We'll catch y'all in the next one.